Call the meeting to order. The Wilmington City Council. I'd like to welcome all those who are with us here this evening and all those who are watching us at home. Thank you for taking an interest in your government. At this time, I'd like to ask and introduce Sergeant Ronald Evans of the Wilmington Police Department. If you'll please come forward and give our invocation. If everyone will stand, and afterwards we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, Mayor,
Sergeant.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we first and foremost just thank you for this day. We thank you for your continued grace and your continued mercy that you bestow upon us day in and day out. We ask that you continue to watch over us, keep us protected from the seen and the unseen. Cradle us in your arms and hold us close to your bosom. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have several presentations this evening. In that first presentation, I'd like to recognize Ms. Evelyn Adger, who is the chairperson of the Commission on African American History for Proclamation naming February 2026 as Black History Month. And if she'll meet me in the front with everybody. Dylan, is this where you want us? That suits me. Okay, very good. Just got to make sure we have the picture of the photo op, folks. Okay. I'll read the proclamation from the City of Wilmington, Proclamation for Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month is a time to honor and celebrate the invaluable contributions of African Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States and the world. And whereas the observance of Black History Month offers an opportunity to reflect on the struggles, triumphs, and resilience of Black individuals throughout history and to recognize the ongoing fight for justice, equality, and the full realization of civil rights for all people. And whereas the legacy of African Americans encompasses remarkable figures from the past as well as the present, leaders, artists, educators, activists, and everyday individuals whose courage, perseverance, and vision have shaped and continue to shape the world in profound ways. And whereas it is vital to acknowledge the importance of education, awareness, and the preservation of history to continue fostering mutual respect, understanding, and inclusivity among all people, regardless of race, background, or heritage. And whereas Black History Month serves as a reminder of the importance of continuing to break down barriers, challenges, injustices, and uplift the voices and experiences of African Americans in every community throughout this country. Now, therefore, I, Bill Saffo, Mayor of the City of Wilmington, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of February as Black History Month and call upon all citizens to reflect upon the history, the culture, and the contributions of African Americans to celebrate the accomplishments and enduring spirit of the Black community and continue striving toward equality and justice for all. And I just want to say on behalf of the entire City Council, thank you for everything you folks do to bring awareness and to continue in that spirit to allow people to know what it means that and what the African American community has done for this community over many, many generations and decades. So, Evelyn, this is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Saffo, members of the City Council, and staff. On behalf of the City's Commission on African American History, I sincerely thank you for acknowledging and continuing to recognize the month of February as Black History Month. For many of us, however, Black history is not confined to a single month. It is lived and honored every day. Today, as we reflect, we also acknowledge the loss of another servant leader and civil rights advocate, Reverend Jesse Jackson. On May 8th, 1984, I had the distinct opportunity to meet Reverend Jackson when he came to Wilmington to hold a rally announcing his candidacy for President of the United States. That moment remains as a powerful reminder of what civic courage and bold leadership looks like. Black history for me is deeply personal. It is a daily reflection on where my ancestors came from and what they have endured and the sacrifices made so that we can move forward, never backward. I live in our lives, it lives in our stories, our resilience, and our responsibility to building the foundation they have. It is founded in the teachings, moments of everyday life, the conversations, and the connections, the celebrations, and the commitments that allow a community to grow in spirit, in truth, and in love. As we honor this month, may we commit ourselves to the ongoing work of unity, justice, and progress, not only in February, but every single day. Thank you for continuing to acknowledge, to stand with us in recognizing that history is American history and that it strengthens us all. So we invite everyone here back at the Skyline Center on Saturday, February 21st at 5 p.m. as we honor and celebrate our next generation of leaders. Individuals' tickets are $25, tables are $200. We look forward to seeing you there as we continue to uplift and invest in the future of our community. So as the late Reverend Jesse Jackson once said, keep hope alive.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. This time I'd like to recognize Mr. Carson Porter, Executive Director of the Wilmington Hammerheads, who is going to give us a report on the nCino Park activity, which I know is very active at this current time. Thank you. Amy, will you help?
Oh, perfect. I got you on my side. Thank you, Mayor Sappho, city staff, and members of City Council. It's always an honor to be in front of you guys, and I come with good news tonight. So hopefully, a lot of things that are going on that we're really proud of, and I'm really proud of at the nCino Sports Park. So, really quickly, I just want to give you a brief update, just a real snapshot into some of the economic boost that it's doing for our community, and then just leave you with just general ideas and thoughts as to where we go next. So for those who don't know, nCino Sports Park is a passion project for a lot of us. The Hammerheads had a 70-acre piece of land as a 501c3 nonprofit. We worked really well and hard and with a lot of grind with the city of Wilmington to develop this into a city park. That was a win for everybody because it was able to give the land to the city, and then the 2016 Parks Bond was what the funding came from to really make what is on the brink of being one of the best used sports facilities in the country. I'm proud of that and determined to make that happen, and we're almost there. So what it is right now, it's 11 full-size soccer fields. That's a significant and large park. It's one artificial turf, so that's always something that you'll identify as if you're a youth sports parent. Artificial turfs are really good because they deal with weather in a lot easier way than if it rains too much, as an example. So the artificial turf you can play on it any and all, and also the wear and tear of an artificial turf really is, it has about a 12 to 15 year lifespan, and you just keep playing. And then 5 fields with lights, which again, as we did the study and really looked at things throughout the city of Wilmington, we just have a shortage in lights, and it's appropriate to give this to the presentation in February when the days are a little bit shorter, because lights on a day like this are huge. And so that's really important. And then I think the building got awards in terms of its design. So award-winning building and bathrooms. I've had plenty of people who walk into those bathrooms and think that they're walking into a hotel lobby bathroom. So that's a really good thing. Trust me, in my world, that's a really good thing. And it's also, compared to what we were dealing with a few years back, is a really good win for the facility. I'm going to show you guys a video just because I think it gives you some good snapshots as to what this is. It's sort of our launch video that we put together as an organization, but again, I think it gives you guys a good idea of, it gives you some shots from a drone and some images of what this looks like right now. There's about 1,000 kids out there right now as we speak, probably about 500 or 600 cars, and so it's just an active piece of our community. So Dylan, if you don't mind. The story of this park is something that I think we should all be proud of. We did something to make sure that all these kids keep playing sports. As an organization, the Hammerheads, we owned this piece of land. When the timing was right for us to pitch our land to the city of Wilmington, we were ready. We simply said to the city, we will give you our 70 acres of land in return for the investment and to make this a city park. nCino, their sponsorship dollars went straight into our construction budget. We needed some help, and they stepped up. Emerge Ortho is going to be the official healthcare partner of the nCino Sports Park, which is great because we need that support. This is about the coolest use of recycled land that you could possibly be part of. We should all be really proud in our community. We've taken something that was brown and we've turned it into green. That's all for me. I hope it's a good night for you guys. We're really excited. Thanks, Dylan. So just as you saw that, just to keep talking about the story of this place, it became a city park as soon as the land transaction was done, and then we worked together as a Hammerheads organization and really guided by the city staff, as well as Mayor Sappho and City Council to get this done. So I'm certainly really proud of it. It is a active park that is constantly serving our community. So before I show you these numbers or talk about these numbers, I think one of the things that came up as I talked through this, as we tried to get this done together, is the first service that it was doing was for the kids in our community. That was target number one, to make sure that not only was that park going to be something that our kids could access, but it also relieved a lot of pressure off of the other parks in our community, and so that just sort of had sort of a domino effect on making a positive impact on youth sports in our community. So that was number one. But number two was the economic impact that it does. So sports tourism, as you guys may know or may not know, is a big part of a young player's a young player's career. And so we have hosted events because people love coming to the city of Wilmington. And for a long time, I always used to say people come to our events, the events that we host, in spite of our athletic facilities, but now people come to our events because of our athletic facilities. And so this is just a snapshot. We did what's called the Elite Clubs National League. This is a nationally run, the top level of youth soccer in the country. So people were flying in from Chicago, from St. Louis, from Richmond, from down in Miami. They all came to Wilmington for this event, and this was reported to me directly from that event. So just for you guys to get just a little bit of an economic understanding of where this is, 6,000 plus overnight stays. That's certainly business sales in excess of $3 million, and And then as you look, it goes down job supported, direct job supported total, so about 2,000. Local taxes that were collected, estimated rooms, again, north of 6,000. And then just the total economic impact of a weekend event like this was north of $3 million. So that is people coming into our community, spending dollars in our community, eating out at our restaurants, and staying in our hotels, and then going back to their communities. So that's just a snapshot. That's probably our biggest event, just so you guys know that number. We have a consistent calendar of events, including an Ultimate Frisbee College event that's going on this weekend. So just a snapshot of what that is doing for our small businesses, our restaurants, our hotels, and our community. So within our community, and just to make sure everybody knows how important it was for us that these kids were getting access. We have 165,000 unique visitors in the first year. 5 different sports: soccer, football, lacrosse, ultimate frisbee, rugby. There's no limit, and there's nothing that we wouldn't consider, including, I think we're on the table to host the Olympic qualifying archery. To qualify for the Olympic Games, so just something unique, but they need a lot of space, and we're happy to have them. 11 fields helps with the overall inventory, and that's just something to be proud of. Again, there was always this conversation in our town, especially when people went to Raleigh or Charlotte, or even smaller places like Clinton and Wilson, where they would have these beautiful facilities and come back and go, where's ours? And again, to just make sure that the city staff and the city council and mayor supported this thing straight through, and I think there's something that we can really be proud of. So that's that. And then just one last thing, kind of where we are. Nothing's ever perfect. The one pressing item that needs attention is the paving of the park. I think we underestimated maybe how many people were actually going to come into our park, and the wear and tear that it does to a gravel road. It's serviceable, it works, it's operational right now, but if you think about a beautiful piece of property, whether it's a home or a building or the building that we're standing in, and you put a gravel parking lot, it doesn't match the standard of this, and it also is. It's tough to drive on, so it's a little bit bumpy, and it can be better. I think, especially for me, to be ambitious about trying for this park to be one of the best parks in North Carolina, certainly, and beyond. So that's target number one. The second one that I'm just leaving with is just sort of a dream, because I'm kind of in the, we're all sort of ambitious about what's next. I have a huge passion for this piece of property. I've seen it in every single way, shape, or form. One of the things that I think is very possible based on what it is we're never short of land out there. That's the one thing. If you go out there, you'll realize how big it is. We've made it a sports park in terms of playing fields, and I don't see why we couldn't consider making it the sports campus of the city of Wilmington. And what does that look like? Potentially like a basketball gym or something of that nature, that in 2, 3, 5 years' time, every single family, regardless of what sport you're playing, comes onto that campus. So that's something that needs a lot of work and a lot of attention, and you guys don't need to deal with that at all right now. It would certainly be something to have a private funding, but I just wanted to plant that seed of like, what's next? What else could we do with this? And I think we could get, this thing could truly be a heartbeat in our community. And so we've done really great work, and everybody in this room that has been a part of it has done really great work, and we're really proud of it. And then we just keep moving, because things never stop. So I appreciate the opportunity to report to you guys about all the good things that are going on in nCino Sports Park, and we'll keep doing our work over there. And that's it for me. If there's any questions.
Any questions? Keep up the good work. Thank you, Carson. Thank you for that great presentation.
Thank you all, sir.
Continue on. Next presentation, and we'd like to recognize Mr. Landon Vick of PBMares, who's going to presentation of the city's annual comprehensive financial report. Mr. Vick.
Hey, how you doing? Doing a presentation tonight on the city's audit, far less as cool as the nCino sports park, but nevertheless quite important. Again, my name's Landon Vick from PBMares, audit partner in the New Bern, North Carolina office. and have worked alongside the engagement partner, Robbie Bittner, who could not be here tonight for many years now. I'm just going to go kind of down the line and talk a little bit about the audits that we perform. We produce 4 separate reports as part of our audit, first of which is the opinion over the financial statement, and then 3 reports as part of the compliance requirements. The first financial statement audit is something where we take a risk-based approach to the trial balances, whereby we identify accounts and transactions that we would deem the users of the financial statements to be important. From there, we perform our testing where we sample and test the like. The audit resulted in an unmodified or clean opinion, again this year, which is a testament to the county or the city staff and the finance team. The financial statements as a whole look very similar to prior years. There's one additional GASB that was adopted in the current year, which is GASB 101, resulting in a restatement for prior or beginning period balances, which is not uncommon from what we're seeing in other local government financial statements. You'll see that in footnote 8 to the financial statements, but again, it's not uncommon from what we're seeing for the new GASB. Luckily, there aren't very many GASBs coming down the pike that we're seeing that would result in a large change in future financial statements. GASB 103 and 105 will be something to look out for in the coming periods. Secondly, the compliance results. That produces 3 separate opinions, 2 of which are in accordance with compliance over your federal and state dollars received. Those also received unmodified opinions. Essentially, we identify major programs. In the current year, there were 4, 3 federal, 1 state. We pull down the compliance requirements from the Fed or the state websites, and we test those accordingly. So there were no non-compliance issues identified as part of those audits. The last report is the report on internal controls over financial reporting. That opinion essentially identifies what would be a deficiency in control, whether that's material, significant, or an control deficiency. There was one identified material weakness in the current year. It was a result of a reconciliation between the CFA, which is your schedule of expenditures of federal awards, and the financial statements. This was not a material error to the financial statements whereby it resulted in an adjustment. It was brought to the attention of the city, and a corrective action plan has already been drawn up. We've reviewed that, and that is something we will review behind them again next year as part of our audit. That is the results of those. I do have some boilerplate kind of required communications as far as the audit is concerned. It's a lot of statements whereby we are just saying there were no audit adjustments, there were no uncorrected misstatements identified as part of the audit, there were no disagreements with management, no consultation with other accountants, no significant issues discussed with management, and no significant difficulties encountered as part of our audit. So overall, we want to thank the finance staff for the responsiveness. Getting these audits completed in a timely manner is not an easy task for ourselves, and so when we do have staff with the city or our clients, it's very helpful to be as responsive and helpful as they are to get these completed. So, are there any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us to our next item of business, which is our consent agenda, excuse me, items 1 through 6. I'd like to pull item number C6. Are there any other items any other council member would like to pull?
C3, please.
C3. Anything else? So do we have a motion to accept items C1, C2, C4, and C5? We We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Andrews, second by Councilmember Quintana. Any other discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. Mr. Joyner, I'll come back to you on item C3.
Thank you. So C3 is a resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement with the New Hanover County for the operation of the forensic lab. Can I have somebody explain a little bit about the history of when the city transferred our lab to the sheriff's office? That was to be done in perpetuity, but apparently there was a window of time on that agreement which we have to now update and say it will continue to be in perpetuity, or I'd just like some explanation there.
Mr. Joyner, I'll attempt to answer that. So the transfer of the lab is intended to be permanent. The ILA is specifically, or with regard to the funding responsibilities and to secure that we're still going to pay which percentages we're going to pay. I believe it's 60% and 40% right now. And so, yes, the intention is that the sheriff's office will keep the lab in perpetuity and continue to do this work. And the agreements, though, are just intended to solidify the funding sources.
And so the city's paying 40% of their operating costs. Is that after they pay their staff, which are on the county payroll, not the city?
That is correct, that all of their staff are on the county payroll, yes.
And then what is the timeline of this ILA since the last one expired?
Just one second. This one is subject to annual renewal. It does not have an ending date on it. It's just going to renew each year unless one or the other decides to change it.
Okay, are we going to need to approve this each year, or it will
No.
auto-renew? Got it.
It will continue on and be renewed on an annual basis unless either the county or the city decide to withdraw from it.
Understood. Thank you very much. I have
Yes,
a
sir.
motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve item C3 by Councilmember Joyner, second by Councilmember Santaguida. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. Item C6 is a resolution awarding a construction contract for the Front Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project to Saffold Contractors Incorporated. And I'm going to ask to be recused from item C6. And although I will not derive any benefit from awarding this contract and do not have any personal financial interest in Saffold Contractors Incorporated, the company is owned by a member of my family. So in order to prevent any appearance of impropriety, I would make a motion to recuse myself from voting on this particular item. So we have a motion to recuse me from Councilmember Andrews, second by Mayor Pro Tem Spears. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I am hereby recused, and I will turn this over to Mayor Pro Tem Spears. Spears?
What are our wishes for item, consent agenda item C6? What are our wishes for consent agenda item C6?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, could we have a member of staff present this item to us so we can fully understand?
Okay. Let me
about-
refer to City Manager Becky Hawk.
Yes, we've got Mr. Kyle Burden, who will provide detail on this item.
Good evening, Council. My name is Kyle Burden. I'm Project Manager. So just some background on the Front Street Bridge. We're requesting to award a construction contract in the amount of $2,449,650 to Saffold Contractors for this bridge rehabilitation. Part of this bridge rehabilitation is going to be a full deck replacement. We're going to be making some repairs to some of the substructure of the bridge, some of the steel members, and also painting the steel members as well. We're also going to be implementing a 3-bar metal rail system, which complies with current NCDOT standards for pedestrian vehicle safety along this bridge. This this improvement or rehabilitation is expected to extend the lifespan of the bridge by about, I think, 25 years or so. Any further questions?
Can you tell me the history of the bids on this project? Was there,
So we received 3 bids on this project, and Sappho Contractors was the lowest responsible bidder.
And Councilmember Andrews, if I can just, this is the second time that, just for clarification, this is the second time that the project was bid. The first time the project was bid, there were some difficulties with the lowest contractor being qualified under DOT standards, and so we weren't able to award to them, and the other 2 applicants in that process were significantly over budget and would not have been able to be reconciled down to the project budget. So the project was rebid. This project, again, there were 3 bids. The lowest bidder, after the bid opening, withdrew their bid, and so then Sappho Contractors was left as the lowest responsible bidder after that.
thank you.
Councilmember Joyner?
Thank you, and I am probably repeating a little bit of information of what we just went over, but this is all available online. So the Southern Road and Bridge LLC, which is a Florida company, they bid about $3.74 million. Sappho Contractors, Inc., local to Wilmington, bid $2.4 million. Paragon Building Corporation, local to Wilmington, bid $2.28 million, but Paragon withdrew their bid, making Sappho the lowest bidder, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you. Now I'll ask what are the wishes for consent agenda item number 6. Go on. I don't have. Oh, your screen is stuck. Dylan, we got some stuck screens over here. Oh, well, okay. So we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Andrews and a second by Councilmember Santaguida. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda item passes unanimously.
Can somebody let the mayor know he can come back in?
Yeah, he can hear.
Okay. Our next item of business is our public information. We've had 2 speakers that have signed up to speak this evening. One person is not able to attend it this evening, so our only speaker this evening is Ms. E.J. Hanley of 2137 East Lake Shore, who will be talking to us about reserved parking spaces at Thalian Hall for our mayor, mayor pro tem, and city council members. Ms. Hanley?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council, and city staff. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight, but I'm curious as to why you, Mayor Pro Tem, and the City Council continue to have designated parking spaces at Thalian Hall 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Free public parking at Thalian Hall is limited during performances and events. Finding a space can be difficult for seniors and residents who are simply trying to attend and support the arts of our community. I certainly understand that there may be occasions when city council meetings or official business requires reserved parking. In those instances, ensuring access for elected officials makes sense. However, those occasions appear to be periodic rather than routine. Not something that requires permanent, round-the-clock designation. In the interest of fairness, accessibility, and transparency, I respectfully ask that you consider placing removable parking meter bags over the signage stating for public use when the spaces are not needed for official purposes. This would allow those parking spaces to be used by the public the majority of the time while still preserving them for city business when truly necessary. This small adjustment could make a meaningful difference for seniors and residents, while also demonstrating thoughtful stewardship of shared public spaces. Thank you for your time, your service, and your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Hanley. We can start our next item of business, which is our ordinances. We have an ordinance, item 01A, which is also accompanied by a resolution. 01A is an ordinance making supplemental appropriation in the amount of $140,300 to allow the reallocation of funding within the American Rescue Plan Act projects. And then item 01B is the resolution adding $140,300 in American Rescue Act Plan funds to the Salvation Army Roadway Reimbursement contract. At this time, I'd like to recognize our city manager, Ms. Becky Hogg. Ms. Hogg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. This item will be presented by our Senior Engineering Project Manager, Kim Gordon.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. In 2024, the Salvation Army of Wilmington and the City of Wilmington entered into an agreement to provide $1.3 million of American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, funding as a reimbursement for construction of William Booth Drive. The city has already paid them $1.3 million per the terms of the original agreement. The costs of the roadway totaled $1,464,757.60 due to unforeseen circumstances that include increased construction costs. The city has a surplus of American Rescue Plan Act funds from other projects that came in under budget. We would like to reallocate some of those surplus funds to the Salvation Army to help cover their increased construction costs. We are requesting approval to reallocate $140,300 of those funds to the Salvation Army.
Fantastic. Any questions for staff? Okay. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
So in reading this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I saw that this reallocation comes from the Digital Divide jobs program that was put in place some years ago. And had I not read this, I would have not known. I just kind of thought we were reallocating funds, surplus funds that were laying around. This money has been set aside for us to do something useful within this community as we created the jobs training program and to gainfully employ people. So I feel a way about it, just to be honest. And I feel that there's a lack of transparency that took place as it comes to this item. Because, like I said, this is my first time hearing about it. I didn't hear about it in the pre-agenda, and I think that, I won't say what else I feel, but I'll give you or the city manager or anybody else an opportunity to defend this move.
The other projects came in under budget. There was not a need to reallocate. There was not a need to allocate those funds for the other projects.
The Digital Divide wasn't another project. It was something that was already in place, and it was in place. And Jared was at the helm of it. And when Jared moved on to another organization, another city employee was in charge of it, and nothing has taken place. And I'll just be honest, and I'll say this now. I think that we can do something more along the lines of what that money was used for. I haven't been updated on the progress of that jobs program, and so I'm a little bit surprised at this.
So we have actually worked with the organizations. They were having a difficult time getting enough people to attend the cohorts. And so they were not able to essentially spend all of the funds by the required deadline. So we have reached out and spoken with the impacted entities that weren't able to use all of the funding. They essentially said they did not have enough interest and were not able to completely fill the cohorts and were going to be unable to spend the funds. As far as our ability with the flexibility of what is remaining, we are restricted based on the fact that there was a deadline with the American Rescue Act funding. We had to have the projects obligated by a specific period of time to be able to now spend any remaining funds from programs that weren't able to utilize the full amount. So we're kind of restricted on what we can utilize those funds for now. So it has to be some type of open project that was previously already obligated.
And so how long has this project been dead in the water?
Essentially, we just recently received the final invoice from them. It was part of their December reporting whenever they were kind of coming back and saying, okay, this is what we think we need that we can finish out. So it has been recent.
But when is the last activity? What last activity has been reported from them? And when is the last time? So when you got this information, has anybody communicated that to the council?
I do not know if information has been communicated with council. I do know that there were discussions with both Step Up as well as Stiegler Edit, which were the ones that were kind of locating and working with the individuals through this cohort. And essentially the amount of remaining funds came about as a result of them completing their quarterly reporting in December.
Okay.
Mr. Joyner?
When we're talking about the ARPA deadlines, so we're past the deadline of assigning money to new projects.
Correct.
But we are still within a window where essentially what you're telling us is that if something comes in under budget, that money can be moved to a pre-approved project. What's the deadline for shifting any money at all before we have to cut a check back to the federal government?
We have to have all funds expended by December 31, 2026.
Okay, end of this year. All right, thank you.
So we do have time to reallocate additional funds if necessary?
Correct.
Okay. And so the program that the Mayor Pro Tem was talking about, I remember that program was trying to get off the ground and there was some issues and then it was reorganized. Who was heading up that program?
Essentially, there were two partners. I know Step Up or Phoenix was one of them, as well as Stiegler EdTech. And essentially what it was the concept of the program was trying to get individuals in an IT function, something receiving a higher pay than what they were currently, and then hopefully being able to bring people in to fill the positions that were vacated by the people that were able to hopefully have a job with a higher salary.
So the people that contacted us or shared that information was Stiegler or was it Step Up?
We had conversations with both entities.
With both entities? Is Stiegler's not from here, right? They're from out of town?
They are
They're
from out of
Raleigh?
town.
Okay. How many people, does anybody know the amount of folks that participated in the program? I know they didn't have enough, is what you've shared with us, but do we have a number on that?
I do not have that information with me tonight. However, I'm happy to get that to you as soon as
I'd
possible.
like to be able to at least look at that. I remember there was several renditions of this program, and there was some concerns about originally, the original group that was supposed to be handling this, I guess, did not really perform to what we expected, and then Stiegler came along, and we thought that we had some traction there, and that there was going to be interaction with a lot of, some of the businesses here in the community that were looking for folks to fill some positions that could be, with the folks that they would be helping and working with. So
Yeah, it was one that definitely pivoted some during the process, but unfortunately, they weren't able to kind of be able to get the movement that they thought they were going to be able to.
Madam Manager, I know you weren't here at the time, and maybe we can get somebody from either Stiegler or from Step Up to come and share some information, some additional information, since we do have some additional time. As you shared with us?
Well, we do have a limited number of funds that have not been spent to date. And so we do have a few open projects that we are waiting to see where their final numbers come in at.
Okay. I'd just like to have a little bit more clarity on that, potential program, because I thought it had a lot of merit, and I thought there was a specific need from what I heard from some individuals, some business owners that thought that it was a good program that was being put together, but why it didn't materialize, I have no idea. And I'd like to have a little bit more information about it.
Mr. Mayor, we're happy to have a report prepared regarding the performance of that program that we can bring to the next council meeting. If anyone from either of these organizations would like to be a part of that conversation, we're happy to invite them if they are available. And then we can also provide a complete list of sort of the available projects that remain ongoing that may have a potential need for additional dollars, so that council can see that whole picture before taking action. I don't think a 2-week delay is problematic in any way.
I would just like to understand some of the complexities or the issues that they had in recruiting folks. How did they contact them? What kind of public outreach was done? I'd like to have a little bit more insight into that.
We can definitely get that information for you.
Because maybe this wasn't the group that should have been doing it, maybe it should have been somebody else. I have no idea, but I'd like to at least hear from somebody or at least get a report to tell us why that program didn't take off. Because we thought it had a lot of merit. Okay. Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I agree, we need to hear the background to this, but, you know, I was very heavily involved in implementation and design of this program to begin with. And so again, that's why I'm really taken aback to hear that we kind of scrapped it. And now we're going to use the money for a road. And I understand the necessity of, you know, helping the Salvation Army. But I also understand that there's a greater need to employ people in this community. And so if we can't find people who find the program or put people in the program, there are some programs within this city, and I know of one specifically. I hate that Amy Beatty is gone, because I've often hear complaints from the recreational side about being understaffed and programs needing funding and things of that nature. So maybe we just need to rethink of where we can redirect this money if we have to. But I would be very displeased to see us just scrap this program and move on.
Councilmember Santaguido.
Thank you. If we choose not to appropriate this $140,000 to Salvation Army, what are the other options for where that $140,000 comes from?
There are limited options at this point, but as the manager indicated, I'm happy to bring some additional information forward at the next meeting, just so we can, we've looked at it, but we will take a look with fresh eyes.
Thank you. It would also be helpful to see what projects are outstanding that would qualify for these ARPA funds, since there's a limited number, just to understand what went under budget and what we may need to appropriate these funds to, because I don't necessarily want us to lose them in the community when they can be put to good use, even if it's not what was initially intended.
And Councilmember, if I may, just for clarification, the funds can only, when Ms. Wayne is talking about that they are restricted, the funds can only be used for already allocated ARPA projects.
Correct.
So we can't take them and use them for other city projects or other ideas. That it's only other ARPA funds, and it's also only projects that are not closed out yet.
Right.
So that's why it's really limited. If a project has already received ARPA funding and they've closed out their funding already, we can't reallocate to them. It's only open ARPA projects that the money can go to.
Thank you for clarifying. I understand that. I think what I'm looking for is what is that limited list. So thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay. Councilmember Clinton Quintana.
My question for you is this the total amount that is left of the program, the $140,300, or is there more?
For that particular program, that would be their remaining funds, because they, based on conversations with the entities, they had felt like they had spent as much as they could, and they would not be able to spend the remaining funds within the required timeline.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, that's an interesting point you made, because now I want to know what they spent it on. If they spent all they could spend, and they couldn't find anything else to spend it on, then I want to know what they spent it on if they couldn't find enough interested parties to participate. So add that to your bucket list of things to bring back to us. And please send them an invitation, both Stiegler and Step Up Wilmington. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Could we go back to just the Salvation Army? I know there are some of the folks back there tonight. So the road was, give me the road number again. Could you give me that number again, please? What the total amount was?
The total amount?
And
The
then,
total amount cost $1,464,757.60.
okay, that's 1 million. Okay. And this is the remaining balance of that? This is what makes
Most of the remaining balance.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, these folks do great work.
They have
I know
been
that.
fantastic.
The facility's phenomenal, and we're just so glad that they're reopened. And I've heard a lot of good things in the community about things that they're doing, and I've heard from other nonprofits that they have been engaged with in respect to some of our unsheltered population. I just want to say thank you so much for all the great work. And I've been out to the facility, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Done a nice job. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. What are the wishes of council in respect to the ordinance?
I'll make a motion to continue it.
Want to continue this particular item? Okay. You want to continue until we get the report back?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay. All right. So we'll have a motion. We have a motion to continue item 01A and 01B. Motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Spears, second by Councilmember Andrews. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. That brings us to our next item of business, which is a resolution. Item R1A is a resolution authorizing amendment to an installment financing contract in an amount not to exceed $75 million to finance and refinance various city projects. And then item R1B is a resolution requesting local government commission approval of the City of Wilmington stormwater fee revenue refunding bonds and certain related matters. At this time, I'd like to recognize again our city manager, Ms. Becky Hawk. Ms. Hawk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, and again, Finance Director Martha Wayne.
Hold on one second, I'm getting the presentation up. Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council again. So what I am here tonight for is to discuss a potential debt issuance that we would like to bring forward in the spring of this year. Tonight, I'm going to be discussing the timeline of the activity, the steps that we need to take to perform the debt issuance, as well as the instrument we'll be using in the planned projects that we're going to be funding with this debt issuance. The instrument that we are proposing using is limited obligation bonds. Limited obligation bonds do not require vote or approval. They also do not essentially put any limitations on our tax powering. Essentially, we're not pledging our property tax revenue as security against this debt. Instead, we're actually utilizing deeds of trust that the city currently has in place, as well as the debt payments that the city will be making. The financing deals, we are planning to do an issuance not to exceed $75 million. I know that amount seems very scary. However, of that amount, only $25 million relates to net new debt. The projects that we're planning to borrow funds for include the Parks Maintenance Facility, radio project, streets and sidewalk rehab, as well as the Water Street Park improvements. The remaining not to exceed amount of $50 million actually refers to refundings that we're proposing refunding is similar to a personal refinancing. So this is a way that we're actually utilizing the system to help us save some additional money. We are expecting the anticipated savings from our Series 2015A bonds to equal approximately $340,000, and our Series 2016 to save the city approximately $1.4 million. The next slides are going to be the timeline for what the debt issuance steps need to look like. Tonight, I am here to essentially ask for authorization to take all actions to be able to issue the limited obligation bonds. Additionally, I am calling for a public hearing. At the public hearing, one of the things, as I referred to earlier, is limited obligation bonds are secured by a deed of trust on city property. And so we will be asking for the deed to be updated to add some additional debt to the property that we currently already have on the deed of trust. Next steps, after we hold the public hearing, we'll also go to the Local Government Commission to ask for approval. Staff has already had discussions with the Local Government Commission about what our plans are. We have also worked with them to get a pricing deadline for our limited obligation bonds as well as an anticipated closing. So the LGC is aware of what we would like to do. We're just going before you tonight to get your assurance that you feel comfortable with what our plans are. In addition to that, we would like to do a refunding of our stormwater fee revenue bonds. This debt is paid solely from revenues generated by the stormwater fees. For this, we're asking for the refunding not to exceed $15 million. There is no new debt being issued with this request. This is just an avenue for us to once again potentially have some savings, and we're anticipating savings of approximately $750,000. The reason these two transactions need to be treated separately is one is a limited obligation bond, which is secured by a deed of trust, whereas this is a revenue bond, which is actually secured by a specific revenue stream, which in this case is the stormwater fees. And the next two slides are essentially the timeline for what we anticipate this issuance to look like. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
So just curiosity, could you go back to the original slide where you had $25 million in new debt that is part of this refinancing? So the Water Street Park improvements, can you give me just some specifics as to how much of that $25 million is going toward the Water Street Park improvements?
Approximately $1.5 million. I believe the total project cost is estimated around $3.4 million.
And that is for the section, I believe, if somebody can clarify this, behind the federal courthouse, or is that the piece there, the U.S. Coast Guard property that the city purchased?
This is the old riverfront park along Water Street in front of the federal building between Market and Princess.
Very good. And so, and I would imagine that you also had some discussion with bond counsel in respect to this refinancing package, or is?
Correct.
Okay.
We have worked with our financial advisors. We've been working with our bond counsel, as well as had conversations with LGC staff.
So yeah, I'm looking at the rates, the interest rates in general. It looks like they're coming down,
Yes.
and there's talk about them possibly coming down more. Just out of curiosity, why not wait to see if we can get even a better deal, or do you think that this is why position it now instead of a little bit later? Just curious.
One of the things we like to do is, well, whenever you do this type of bonds, we like to kind of match our borrowings with when the projects are bid, as well as when the funds are needed for the projects.
It's a timing issue in respect to the construction and the timing of that.
Correct.
And then there will be other opportunity. I'm sure you will be evaluating other debt structures over time, that if there's an opportunity and rates continue to go down, that you could come back Because I've seen it up here where you come sometimes 2 or 3 times a year where you've come back and done some refinance.
Correct. We are, as part of our financial monitoring for the city, we're continuously reviewing kind of a debt model, which is where we're kind of matching, essentially looking forward to see what our debt needs, our capital needs might need to be in the future. We always like to make sure we have capacity for unexpected items or projects that may come up during the year. But we're also always looking at the debt that we currently have outstanding and looking for opportunities to do refundings where we can actually save money while we're essentially save money. So essentially like refinancing your house. So yes, we are always kind of evaluating that. Our advisors are also looking at that with us.
Good. Any other questions? Thank you for figuring out a way to save us some more money.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. What are wishes of council in respect to item R1A, which is the resolution? We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Andrews, second by Councilmember Santaguida. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously. Now we'll go to item R1B. What are the wishes of council in respect to item R1B, which I've already read into the record? We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Andrews, second by Councilmember Joyner. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes unanimously on R1A and R1B. This concludes the regular agenda. Are there any items to be brought forward by our city manager,
No, Mr. Mayor.
city attorney?
Yes, sir. We have a closed session motion for you at the appropriate time.
Okay, very good. Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Okay. Councilmember Santaguida?
No, sir.
Councilmember Andrews?
Happy Mardi Gras to those who celebrate, and also happy Lunar New Year, the year of the horse.
Very good. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah. This Saturday, I spoke at a funeral for a young man who was killed a couple weeks ago in the Creekwood community. And I was really close to some of his family members, and but even in that time of despair, I saw the most amazing thing, and you know, I got my start in advocacy and in youth violence and gang violence and just, you know, anti-violence, anti-guns. And I saw 50 young men and women get up and come to the altar to give their lives to Christ. And I'm telling you, there was not one dry eye in the church. And I have never in my life seen that happen. You know, typically you may get one or two, or you may get none. But I mean 50 young people. So that, to me, you know, there's always hope. And we say this cliche thing, and I'm going to record to say that I'm not a fan of it, where we say if we can just save one. Well, I want to challenge people. I want to challenge this community to say that one is not enough. It's not enough, because we could do so much more. But it's an indication that people, there is more that we can do. And these young individuals, sometimes they have no clue about what they're doing. They have no clue about the burden that they're putting on their families. And so it was just an amazing thing. And so that's one silver lining. And the other silver lining is this. Not only did they give, you know, stand up, come to the altar, they got prayed for, but last night I got a message that said, well, not only did they come to the altar, but now they want Bibles. And so I said, okay, it was a little late. Last night I was doing my homework. I said, don't worry, I'll post it tomorrow. And so I put out a call to the community, just asking for 50 Bibles for these 50 young men and women. And just the amount of love shown and support shown, that's just amazing. And, you know, sometimes there is a glimmer of hope in a time of despair. And so I would be remiss not to help these young individuals find what they're looking for. So just wanted to share that story.
It's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Councilmember Clinton Quintana?
I'll simply be brief and say continue to be kind and love one another. We need more of that in our city and our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Lau?
Don't forget the vote.
Councilmember Lau.
I have something real quick. I want to encourage everyone to read a recent op-ed in the Business Journal by Isabel Shepard and Liz Carbone that talk about the tension between housing affordability and tree preservation. It's very insightful. Something we're going to be struggling with for a long time.
Thank you. Councilmember Joyner?
No, thank you.
Just before we go into closed session, I just want to say, you know, we lost a sports hero from New Hanover High School, Sonny Jurgensen, and I had an honor in 2007 to help rename the field there at Legion Stadium after Roman Gabriel and Sonny Jurgensen, that both played at New Hanover High School. One played for the Rams, the other one played for the Eagles and the Redskins for many years, and of course, Sonny made it to the Hall of Fame. He went to school with my mother, and I didn't even know that. But he was a true character, but he was also a great human being, and I was just and sorry to see that we've had two sports legends now within a year of each other that have passed away, but they were great, both ambassadors of our community for many, many years. So with that, I'm going to ask for a closed session to pursuant to the provisions of North Carolina General Statutes, Section 143-3, 18.11 A and 3, and A9, in order for the City Council to, 1, consult with and provide instruction to the City Attorney regarding a potential legal matter, and number 2, instruct staff regarding the city's position regarding public safety. We have a motion to go into closed session by Councilmember Clinton Quintana, second by Councilmember Lau. Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That item passes unanimously. We will now go into closed session. The closed session will be held in the Charlie Rivenbark room behind council chambers, and at the end of the closed session, council will reopen its public session and adjourn at that time from this place. So with that, we go into closed session.